So you're in New Jersey, yeah?
I am in New Jersey, yes.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, yes. I've lived in the same house since I was born. Things
Wow.
have changed since I was born, some like cosmetic stuff. I have a studio now in my house that's really cool. I can work out of it.
Oh,
So
that's
that's made,
great.
work and stuff a lot easier for me. I have clients that come to my studio, record, and I've built quite an awesome kind of circle of music people in like the New York, New Jersey area. So I'm
Yeah.
really lucky to work with the people that I work with.
Yeah.
And the last, like I would say 2, 3 years have definitely been awesome. And I've gotten to work with a lot of people that I've wanted to work with for a
Yeah.
long time.
Because as I looked, you've been doing music a long time, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
I,
started singing like unofficially when my mom says it was 3, but I think she's pushing it a little bit because I don't think I was even like really forming sentences at that age. But I used to like perform for my family and stuff, and it always was the thing that made me the happiest. And then
yeah.
I started writing when I was 9. Of
Wow.
course, it was not good. It was, I was listening to like Shakira and Britney Spears, who are great, but
Sure.
my
Sure.
idea of writing, a song like that was not the best. I think my first song was actually called "We Came Here to Party" at like age
That's a
6.
9-year-old, a 6-year-old.
I guess that's the Jersey. I guess that's the Jersey. It might be the
You
Jersey,
know, yeah, I get
but
it. It's these sleepovers get crazy.
it was insane.
You're like,
Um,
we're up past 12, it gets
yeah.
wild.
Oh my God. Of course. Of course. So much inspiration. Are you kidding? But I started kind of taking it serious, and well, I started writing better-ish songs in middle school, and I
Yeah.
had a really great music teacher. His name's Mr. Nalesnik. And I remember coming to him with this song that I wrote called Help the World, because I thought I was Michael Jackson and was going to write like the next, like, life-changing, world-altering peace
Yeah.
song. Um, but he kind of pushed me, and I got to sing it at like this peace park that opened in my town. And it was such a cool experience. And I was like, I want to do this forever. Like,
Yeah.
I love sharing my music. Um, and then in high school, I entered a songwriting competition with the Grammy Foundation.
Saw that.
Yes. And I literally got word of it like a week before the deadline was due. I was
Yeah.
scrambling to try to make something. And then I got a call the next week that I won the contest, which
Wow.
was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And, looking back on the songs, they weren't fantastic and like, chart
Yeah.
topping songs, but it kind of built my confidence as a writer and a
Sure.
singer. So it really helped me, push myself to make stuff that I really love.
Yeah.
And then after high school, I just decided, I'm going to work. So right now I work like 4 jobs plus the music and do everything myself. So all my promotional material I make, all my music videos I edit, all my, I try to produce on almost every song. My next project that's coming out, I worked with an amazing producer named Florio on almost every track.
Awesome.
Um, and he was a huge help. But I
Yeah.
definitely have started, dabbling in a little bit of everything, because as an independent, I mean, you kind of have to be your own everything.
Sure.
So it's definitely been a lot of work, but
Yeah.
it's the thing that makes me the happiest.
Love it. And what was the cool thing that I saw about BBREXA reacting to your cover of her song?
Yes. So that was a couple of years back. My YouTube was kind of, gaining some traction. I was
Yeah.
posting super frequently. That was when I was still in high school. And I put out this cover of BBREXA, and like 2 months later, I got an email that they wanted to do like a spread on me and like do an interview with me. And when I got on the Zoom call,
Yeah.
they were like, "We're going to show you a video." And I was like, "Okay, like no problem." And they showed me BB Rexha just responding to my video, which was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It's part of a series that they do where they have like the artists
Yeah.
react. But that definitely, helped out with some exposure, and it was, just so cool to think that the artist of the song actually
Yeah.
lets me sing it. It was insane. So, and
That's
she's a great, great, great writer.
yeah.
Um, she's one of my biggest like writing inspirations. She's
Yeah.
just kind of taken the world by storm and built her own career from it. So
Yeah.
props to her. She's great. Would
That's
love to collab one day if
yeah,
possible.
right.
Evie, if you're watching.
Well, look, I mean, that's the whole premise of what we're trying to do is help, songwriters connect and I think often we're still kind of in a very early stage of what we're trying to build out here, but it's been really exciting to see the songs that people are producing when they find each other on the app, even if they're not in the same city, which is the whole point. That unfortunately the pandemic happened, but
Right.
fortunately things like this kind of opened up this whole new world of virtual collaboration,
Oh, totally.
when it comes to music. And so we're trying to harness all of that. And so I'm always interested, you being in New Jersey and being close to New York, it's like, how have you gone to find kind of your community that you're writing and playing music with? Is it just,
Well, it's actually funny. So what you said about like COVID and kind of, the nature of the world right now is so
yeah,
true.
yeah,
I think that it's definitely, closed some doors, but opened up like four
sure,
times more just because there was at least when, COVID was really, taking over, everyone was
yeah,
staying home for the 4 months, couldn't leave. It's like you kind of have nothing else to do besides try to figure out what you're going to do with yourself. And through that, I met a lot of people from the New York scene because
mm,
I was just, scrolling through Instagram, finding people my friends have collaborated with.
yeah,
And through that, wrote my whole second project
wow,
during COVID, basically all on Zoom. So if
wow,
it was not for COVID, I
yeah,
probably wouldn't have a project because
sure,
my schedule is so hectic. And, I do dedicate time every day to music, but it was a lot more of my time when I
yeah,
didn't have to do everything else.
yeah,
So I definitely have to give props to, platforms like Zoom and
yeah,
FaceTime and stuff like that during
sure,
COVID that saved, my creative juices from
yeah.
dwindling away.
The-
Um,
You seem
and
like a very positive person that will look at, an unfortunate situation that the world's in. You're like, well, now I actually I'm forced to almost put pen to
yeah,
paper and get this thing going. So there's some good upside to it, I guess.
yep.
That's great. And then I'm just so curious how the whole Jimmy Fallon thing happened.
So basically, I got a dressing room, got my prompt, then we had a sound check, and then we filmed, and then that night I watched it with all my family and friends. So it was a very
Yeah.
fast day, but definitely feels like a fever dream and
Yeah.
amazing and everything all at once.
In my, I go, so do you know a lot about NFTs? Because your song was so good. And
Thank you.
I
Thank
say
you.
it just from like, because if you had asked me 6 months ago, I like would have no idea. But like I've spent a lot
So
of time. And so like the way you were tying in the words and it making sense about NFTs, I was like, this is was it really only an hour?
it was about an hour, yeah.
I mean, I was like, this is a great song. I showed it to all of our interns, and then
Thank you.
they were
Thank
all,
you.
oh, I was like, this is so, I showed it to so many people. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
and I was like, that's why I was like, because it just, I mean, I've played music and I was in like a cover band, right? Like nothing crazy. It's just like in college, but
That's still awesome though.
yeah,
I
it
love
was super fun, super fun. I
that.
mean, it's like you can play any cover song with six
Yeah.
chords basically and just have a blast.
Right.
And I wrote a couple songs, but man, like if you were like you have an hour, I'd be like there'd be a lot of gibberish for sure. But yeah, like so back to the thing, like so are you involved in that world? Do you read it, understand it, like the NFT space and all that?
Well, not particularly. I know like the general overview of what they're
Yeah.
supposed to be. I was looking into actually, there was this one NFT called a Meta Birkin, the Birkin bags that are 30
Yeah,
grand
yeah,
per bag.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, your girl can't afford right now, but hopefully one day. But I saw that there was like an artist making virtual NFTs of the Birkin bag, and they were selling for like 0.6
Yeah.
Ethereum. None of this makes sense to me, by the way. I'm just reading, like I'm just reciting what I saw.
Got it.
0.6 Ethereum. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get it because it's reselling for like quadruple
Yeah.
thousand, whatever it is. I didn't end up doing it because apparently you had to be on a waiting list, but I did some research
Uh,
for that because I thought that was, such a cool
yeah.
concept to make. Um, but I think the whole world, is like kind of expanding. I've heard of artists making
Yeah,
NFTs of, their songs and stuff
yeah,
like that. I think there's a whole world that is yet to be super tapped into and
sure.
understood by the majority of people.
Yeah,
I think it definitely has the potential to grow into something, huge in the next 10, 20 years.
totally.
But I think that, the title of the song was correct for most people. Like nobody really understands what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, when you were saying like the fungible part, and I was
Yeah.
just like, she knows what she's talking about. And like,
Yeah.
so that was really cool to see. And then were you able to spend some time with Jimmy, like before or after, like hang out, meet him?
Oh no, I met Jimmy for the first time when I went
Yeah,
into to film for it. And they filmed through the commercial breaks and the breaks between like kind of the downtime in between like
yeah,
walking and stuff, they kind of cut it. After we did the songs, he did speak to us for like maybe 30 seconds before he moved
yeah,
on, but again, he was recording a show.
sure.
So I understood, it's show business,
Yeah,
the clock is running. So
yeah,
uh you got to get it done in time, but he was very sweet, very nice man, was
yeah.
super excited and made us feel really comfortable.
That's awesome.
So it was really just a cool experience overall.
And then from that, like, I mean, is it one of those things for you as an artist? Are you spending more time writing, producing, trying to get as many songs out there as possible? Is it just grinding with the four jobs, trying to do as much music as
Oh yeah.
possible?
Oh
Like,
yeah. So my new single comes out tonight at midnight.
what?
Yeah, it's called Hurt 2, and it's the
Hmm.
second single off of my next project. And I'm really excited about it. It's definitely moving towards the sound that I really want for myself,
Yeah.
which is like super bass driven pop. I really love pop music.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
Shakira, Britney
Yeah.
Spears, these were my big
Yeah.
influences as a kid. Now I love Lennon Stella. I love Bazzi. I love Post Malone. Like these are
Yeah.
all people that I think make classic, really good pop music.
For sure.
Um, and so that comes out tonight at midnight, which I'm very excited about. And from there, I have a project coming out this year. And I've been doing a lot of co-writing and
Yeah.
producing for other artists too, which is
It's great.
always so fun because I feel
Yeah.
like you learn, like, I feel like there's such a beauty in working with somebody else. And I used to be really against it, which is surprising. When I was younger, I was like, nobody's writing on a song with me. Like if somebody writes with me, it's
Yeah.
not my song. And then I grew up and I was like, I'm missing out on hearing the way somebody else would say the same thing that I'm trying to say. And
Mhm.
maybe it's better than what I would write
Sure.
down.
Sure.
Like it's just there's something about working together with somebody on a song and having, the same experience through the song, but like through a different lens.
Love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And on the business side, now you have more people that are invested in the song to try to make it succeed and be
Oh,
really
for
good
sure.
and get it in front of whoever needs to hear it. And then,
Yeah.
and that's the big part of kind of like what our app's trying to do, even though it's set up, like a dating app and you swipe and all that good
Mhm.
stuff. But the ability to, geolocate. So you being in Jersey, you can change your location in the app and put your profile in Nashville or LA and like just try to
Right.
find the right collaborators that match the style and genre and the sound that you're looking for. And that's kind of the beauty of the co-writing thing is as you mentioned, like somebody just being like, hey, why maybe let's tweak this here and there,
Right.
and it can elevate what's already good to great.
Exactly.
And that's the fun part of it too. And especially in the virtual space. And I think there's no replicating being in the room with somebody and like feeding off of each other, but like it's become very efficient to find
Yes.
the right people and be able to do it this way. And shoot, man, I know songwriters that live 2 miles apart here in Nashville and they still do it virtually because they're like, I don't want to drive over there and
Right.
I got kids and but so it kind of opens up this whole new world of collaboration, which we're excited to see. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, so like for you, I mean, it's one of those where I think that there's a writer that wrote a Bieber and Grande song that's in LA that uses our app because they want to expand their network too, because
Right.
oftentimes, the publishers here in Nashville may not have any connections in New York or LA. And
Right.
so there's that piece of it. But What I, if you, we'd be happy to, with your new single, like we would love it would, if you get on the app, make a profile again, like it's free, like you don't have to do anything. We'll promote your song. We'll make you like a featured
Wow.
artist. We'll put it on a playlist and,
Thank you so
uh,
much.
no, for
That
sure.
would be amazing.
Yeah, because every week if you go like on our Instagram, we do like a songwriter of the week, but then weekly we'll update like 20 artists, writers from the app, and just kind of rotate it just to give, it's all about the songwriter, right? And
Amazing. Well,
how,
I do want to say when you messaged me and
yeah,
I checked out the platform and the app
yeah,
and what it's about and your page, it's a brilliant idea. Like it's just it's perfect. I don't think there is another platform like this where you can, obviously there's music apps and stuff like that, but
sure,
this is just so niche and
yeah.
so amazing. Like I just I low key wish I thought of it myself. Like you're a genius. So
No,
I'm so excited to get on it and use it. I'm
yeah,
actually
thanks.
going for a trip to LA in May, and I'm going to be using the app
Yeah,
there. I have a few friends that live in
amazing.
LA, but I'm going to extend the trip for a business trip.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to utilize the app. So I'm very excited to do so.
Thanks. And that's kind of so what was wild, and I wouldn't say, I appreciate the genius part. It's more or less like we saw at the time, just even here in Nashville, it was like you can walk down the street and run into songwriters, but you never knew what kind of songwriter they were and if they were the
Right.
right fit. And the whole idea of like songwriting being a lot like dating made a lot of sense. And
Yep.
the as dating apps make things more efficient, we'll say that, but there's also the crazy part that can be weird sometimes. But what they do allow is for vetting and saying, hey, is this somebody that I could be compatible with
Right.
on the
Which
dating
I
front?
do think is so
Yeah,
important because, as much as musicians like to say they love every kind of music,
right.
I definitely have a few, genres of music or ways of
Yeah,
writing lyrics that are not my favorite. So it is important to find somebody who kind of is on a
yeah,
similar, you know, s-
yeah,
like idea to you about what you want to do. Because
exactly.
kind of if it doesn't work out, it's not, bad.
Yeah,
It's just, you'd
yeah.
rather kind of know beforehand. Yeah.
100%. And imagine that, and to us, it's how do we make it so you spend more time writing songs? And if a lot of the time is finding people, and then when you do find people, and then you get like schedule a time to write with them, and then you get in a room and you're like, this isn't really jiving. You're
Yeah.
like, man, we just wasted a lot of time when I'm sure you're a great musician writer, but like we just aren't meant to work
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
I, and that was kind of how do we cut out the people that are great at doing that, but it's just not the right fit for me as a co-writer. But then I mean, that example of going to LA, it's like I can put my profile there in advance and say, hey,
Right.
I'm going to be out there, May 10th through the 15th, and I want to like meet and co-write with people that are out there. Like that was a big problem that we saw when we came up with this. Is there's a big songwriter festival, actually it's coming up here in a couple of weeks, where it's 5 days of just 20 venues, songwriters all day, just playing their songs. And we met so many people a couple of years ago when we started with this, and they would literally pay to fly here, pay for a hotel, pay for the nights out, just to meet other songwriters, go back to Canada,
Right.
just to then schedule another time to come out here to write with people. So they're basically
Right.
spending so much money in a very
Exactly.
inefficient way just to meet people. And so like um that's where it kind of made sense to mirror the functionality of a swiping part of it, just because that way there's mutual double opt-in connection. You're not sharing your cell phone, you're not sharing
Right.
your email, and so there's some safety to that. But yeah, like that was kind of the idea. It's what are the friction points that musicians and songwriters run into in this industry, and let's start here and then build off of that and see what else we can help. So that's kind
Well,
of
I definitely see this platform, expanding, blowing up. I mean, I've told like four of my friends already about it, and I'm gonna tell
well,
everybody else about
thanks.
it because I think it's just such a great idea and it's such a great opportunity to meet people that you might not find scrolling through your
Yeah,
Instagram. They might be people that have no mutuals with you, but might be the
yeah,
best co-write you've ever had in your life. So
you get it. And Yeah, I'm super pumped for you too, and it's one of those where I knew first listening to you, but then talking to you real briefly, and you're like, look, 4 jobs, trying to do this music thing. Like, I'm so excited for you just because it's you understand hustle and grind and working hard, and I think what I have found, and I'm definitely not the expert in this, but everybody I've talked to in this industry that has some power in terms of this, how things work, what they say a lot is one huge variable is work ethic, right? And sometimes I hear I would rather a person that may be less talented but works harder than someone that's super talented that
Oh yeah,
doesn't work hard, not great to work with, difficult.
me too.
They're like, we want talented hardworking people, and you already have both and you work hard, so
Thank you.
there's a bright future ahead for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For sure. But yeah, I didn't know if there's anything else you wanted to chat about, but I just wanted to quickly say hi and
Oh yeah,
talk to
I mean, this
you.
was
And
great. I'm very
yeah,
excited to, set up my profile. I actually will be spending the rest of the night just, getting
yeah,
everything ready for the release. So I'll
hell yeah.
add my profile while I do that
No,
and kind of
all
get it set
good.
up. And thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for getting on the call with me.
Oh,
And
no,
like I
thank
said, I
you.
can't wait to start using the platform, and I'll keep in touch with you and let
Please.
you
Yeah,
know, how it's going, if I'm meeting with
please.
anybody.
Feedback too, right? Like there's still stuff in there that drives me crazy because but it's still early and we got bugs and all this stuff which happens everywhere. But you're fantastic. So I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank
And
you so much.
yeah, we'll talk soon. And if there's anything else, just give me a shout. But it was
Awesome.
a pleasure talking with you.
You too. Thank you so much. Have a great
All
night.
right. See ya. Bye
Bye.
bye.